Hey everybody, welcome back to The Legend of Ornstein and Salt and Sanctuary. So, now that we've beaten up the Sodden Knight and took his kit, we unlock... Well, I could have unlocked that shortcut a while ago, but we unlocked this door.
And we're blind. Oh, here we go.
And oh look! A friend! Say hello to the, I want to say either Solaire or, fuck, what's Onion Bro's name? Sigmire.
Sigmire, yeah.
I want to say that's either the Solaire or Sigmire allegory to this game. It's the Wandering Knight. He's very friendly, and he talks about the quest.
Ho ho, questing.
Now he, much like in the Souls games, has a quest line that results in a plot string. I've, never done this because Salt and Sanctuary is a weird game in that there are a couple forks where you could completely fuck with the game's intended pacing. So while I'm still gonna attempt to do that, I'm also gonna try to, keep these plot lines going, because when I was doing research for this LP, I realized that I could do what I usually do and still keep this plot line going. So I hope to do that. If I don't do that in the future, I apologize, something might have happened, because I'm never good with this. I never fucking do these side plots in a Souls game. But yeah, in order to start this guy's quest, you just run out his dialogue, where he talks about, oh, it's nice that you have a quest to save a princess. I want to slay a dragon. Everybody should have a quest, right? Also, there's a wacky dragon up there, but there's no way in. Now here's what happens if you try to use any other weapon aside from the ore in this challenge. You fucking suck at it.
That's great. So does all the weapons have grease on their handles?
Yep. Other weapons do different things, like with heavy weapons, you take 8 years to swing it. Spears, the whip is probably the funniest in my opinion. We'll save that for the video though. Now, there's a secret here that you don't quite know about. Right over here. Unfortunately, the secret doesn't mean shit.
Evil candles. Oh.
It's a teaser secret. You're supposed to come in through the other way, but I was testing like, hey, does this work? Oh shit, it does. It's pointless. Another one of those weird obelisks there. They really do like teasing you with that. Which honestly I think is probably the best way to handle games like this. You want to provoke a player's imagination. You want them to be like, hey, you could do this in the future. Don't do it now though.
Does make me wonder if it's a thing that you need to go back to do or something you just can go back and do.
It's something you can go back and do.
Okay.
By the way, here's the beggar's merchant. He sells upgrade materials up to a point.
Including other people's hair.
Yep. Now here's the lucky thing, and here's probably why those who watched the first video and thought, oh, an ore run, that's really exotic, why didn't you do the pot run? Here's the difference between the two. The ore run is bearable because A, it's a spear and has good range. B, it uses the basic upgrade material, which is lock of hair, soldier's poems, so on and so forth. Meanwhile, the pot run requires charred doll, charred reliquary, all that. You can't get those until 10 hours into the game.
Jesus.
So in order to do a pot run, you have to use a +0 weapon for up to 8 bosses. So no, I'm not doing a pot run. I know when I first streamed this, I know there's a viewer out there who's watching this and gonna call me out on this. When I first streamed it in the pot run, I didn't realize that the pot run was gonna be so awful. So no, I'm not doing a pot run. It doesn't sound fun.
It's like a soul level 1, but just with your weapon.
It's not even... with a soul level 1, you have an upgraded weapon. Like in Dark Souls 1, you could get a +10 fire weapon before you fight... I think just after you fight Taurus Demon, you could get that? In this game, you are just stuck with the most basic weapon, fighting bosses ineffectually with it, cutting off fragments of their HP bar. It's just not worth it. By the way, here's a secret. This one leads to a very key spell for a caster. Lightning Bolt is actually really good compared to your starting fire spell, and it would behoove you to get this after you beat the Sodden Knight, but don't go any further, like I am. Oh yeah, by the way, this game uses torches like Dark Souls 2, but it uses torches better, because you get to see the horrors that await you.
That looks like a centaur knight dude.
It's a crab battle. Now, listen.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Fuck. I can't beat him with what I got going right now, so, let's get the fuck out of here. For those that are wondering, that's an enemy that you're not supposed to fight until about 6 or 7 sectors from now. Or if you're like me, the tail end of the game, because the route I take completely avoids the area he spawns.
For your safety.
Kinda. Now here's a enemy I don't like fighting with the ore, because it's really fucking agonizing. Like, if you ever played Ninja Gaiden and you fought the Jacuyo, this is what it feels like. With the spear, it's not fun fighting this enemy, and he's not a threat. He's not a threat at all.
He doesn't seem to really be trying to hurt you.
Yeah, he can punch you, and he does come with a lot of salt, but it's also just really awful fighting him with a spear because spears aren't air combat capable. But I do like how this game handles the torches. It definitely feels like the game was saying, man, Dark Souls 2 really sucked at using the torches, we're gonna do it better. And, spoiler alert, they do. Let's get a little bit of extra levels here. I want to get more stuff. Now, an interesting thing to note about for those that would probably do their own ore run. In the tree of skills, you would typically go down the polearm path. Normally this allows you to get better polearms, but it also gives you a stat bonus alongside it. Now here's the rub. The polearm skill specifically gives you plus dexterity, however the ore is a S-rank strength scaling weapon. So if you're going to go down this path, I would say get all the strength things first before unlocking the next tier of polearm, because with this run, you're not going to be using any other weapon, and the ore's base attack value is mediocre at best, so you're going to be relying on strength scaling. Also, the NPCs don't really offer any insightful dialogue. They just say, I do this, I don't know what this island's about. Weird.
Well, they didn't exist until you put that idol down.
Yeah. Now, the merchant gives you nice essentials, but it also allows you to get rid of stuff that you're not going to use.
Like everything.
Pretty much. So, in between recordings, I will probably be dumping all the bullshit I'm not going to be carrying, which will be all weapons and most armor. Now, here's the difference with the Covenants. If you see those electric items that we just barely saw because I didn't stay around there, what? Those electric items are exclusive to the iron ones. If you do the 3 or the earthen ones, you get 2 totally different items. By the way, there's a secret here.
Are there secrets mostly limited to just, it's in this wall?
Yeah. They, for the most part, give you good visual cues for finding the secrets. Like, the one here had a torch right next to it, which is kind of, could be loosely considered a vague way of being a hint. By the way, this item is item drop find up. Pretty good. Other ones include being able to see on the other side of geometry an item that you can't reach. But yeah, secrets for the most part, I wouldn't say they're necessary, but they do offer a lot of good things. Like the Kismet Stone is something I will enjoy using for another mechanic that we'll be seeing when I find the creed I want to work with. Well, there goes that gold. Yeah, a thing to note about this game's level design, there's no loading transitions. Everything you see is all just one instance. To wit, those death pits are not death pits in the traditional way. You will fall to the next 2 levels and fucking die if you fall down those pits, instead of just, oh, you died. which I kind of appreciate because it's like, oh, that's this way. I gained some knowledge from this death. This is cool. What do I do now?
How do I get home?
But now we are going to be going to the next area in a cute little bit of level design, in my opinion.
Is there fall damage?
Yes. Welcome to the Village of Smiles. Don't go too far. There's a trap there. But you could use that trap, because there's a Black Knight here. I'm sorry, it's a Bronze Knight. This is not Dark Souls. What am I talking about? Now, typically, when you're starting out, this is the hardest enemy you'll fight, bar none. But the trap trivializes him.
Damn, I like that death animation.
Mm-hmm. His death gives you a Bella return. It's a homeward bone. I wanted to equip the red shards because I'm not going to use one of my rolls here. I like my bread. Eventually. By the way, at various points of the game, you'll see various NPCs strung up or hung up. Those are actually other player characters that died in this area.
Wow.
And you could also see that if you ever go to a sanctuary and you see other NPCs arriving and interacting with your shopkeepers. That's just other players. And I know this because when I was watching someone else stream this game, I saw my dude with a boat oar appear in his game, and I was like, what the hell, is that me?
Were you also all bright green?
I was using a helmet by that point that I believe we're going to get in a couple minutes. That was very distinguishable. Like, a boat oar would be suspect, but not so much, but combined with the helmet we saw, I knew that was me. So yeah, I did like the fact that they include other characters, so you could include your hideous abominations in the death animations. By the way, there's a trap there. Hidden among the stairs is a tripwire where that crossbow will shoot you in your head.
I think I just barely saw it.
Yeah. The previous videos are 480p, so some details are lost for Thorn. Uh-oh. This is a problem. No. By the way, there's another trap here that I'm so graciously trying to activate, but it didn't quite work. However, for this guy... One thing that really drew me to this game is... can't quite remember what the word is. I believe the term I'm looking for is kinesthetics. Everything in this game is so crunchy and cathartic, and it's just wonderful to see things happen.
Do you mean kinetics?
Kinetics, kind of, but kinesthetics is the way of applying kinetic animations to things like this. Ooh, where I just curb stomp a knight. Actually, that might be the wrong thing entirely. I know it's kinetic something, but I can't remember the exact word for it. But basically the idea is everything in this game is so crunchy and grisly and satisfying that combat is always fun. It never feels like a drag. We got 2 rings. One of them is the Conduit of the Mind. Now, magic is interesting in this game in that, much like wounds to HP, magic uses exhaustion to your stamina to a point. If you see that white bar underneath your stamina bar, that's how much max stamina you could lose by casting. So it limits your MP bar of sorts to 1/2 your stamina bar. That ring increases the amount to 1/3, so you could cast more, but you also have less stamina to work with. We also got a ghastly gourd. These enemies are the saltless. If you play a caster build, it would behoove you to kill these guys and get their ashes for a really good scepter early in the game. I don't want to fight them though, because that V8 they throw really fucking hurts. As seen.
Jeez, you're just spraying it all around now.
Yeah. The V8 that they throw does a bunch of hits. It also lowers your defense, so that's a rude enemy to put that early in the game.
Are you describing it as their V8?
Yeah, V8 juice.
Deadly tomato juice.
It doesn't do a body good. Now I'm going here for a slight sequence break of sorts. I really can't call it a sequence break. There's an item here that I could use to upgrade my weapon, but The game doesn't intend for you to go here this early. So it's a little dangerous, not because of the enemies so much as the platforming. Because you asked earlier in the video if there is fall damage, and yes, there is. That'll be a good 80% of my deaths.
Yay.
It also doesn't help that when I'm playing this game, I use the Steam controller. And I've learned something interesting about myself when I use controllers, in that I have a propensity of holding down when I jump or when I move. And in this game, if you press down and jump, you drop through platforms.
Why do you do that? Do you know?
I think it's just how my hand works. I don't know why I hold down ever so slightly when I do so. It's just more of a physiological quirk with me rather than a ow. Dick.
Rather than a dick.
Yeah. It's funny how I said my deaths are mostly going to be fall damage and then I get shot in the fucking face. So yeah, let's get that 20,000 salt back. That shit ain't right.
No, it said... I think it said Vilehawk stole the salt. Is it more of a case like in Bloodborne where an enemy can take the salt?
Yes. When you die, if an enemy kills you, they take your salt and they get an HP buff. So that Vilehawk that we killed, he took a lot more hits because he was imbued with my salt. By the way, there's slimes. It's hard to tell in our preview video, but if you look ever so slightly in the trees, you could barely see the slimes hanging out there.
I didn't see them at all. I thought he threw a slime on you.
No, they are camouflaged in the trees and they will fall on you much like a trap. Now, the item I'm looking for is among the treetops, but as I mentioned before, I have a bad habit of just straight up dropping through platforms. And we'll see that around here somewhere, or I could die to a slime.
Okay, I do see a slime above it.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost translucent. That's rude.
Yep. Now, we're gonna see a weird interaction with the slimes once I actually get around to it. I really don't want to deal with these Vilehawks, because fuck them. I remember distinctly that this part we're gonna see an interaction because I was looking for that actively in editing. But yeah, the slimes typically aren't a threat. I just took a lot of fall damage and then got slimed. I also, I'll discuss trinkets in a minute after I show off the interaction. So slimes have a weird quirk. They attack you by jumping on your head and then getting dead. However, when they jump on you and you kill them, they're not dead. I don't get my salts back until I actively kill them.
What?
They're not considered dead if they glomp on you and you tear them apart. You have to respawn the area, go back and kill that slime. Which I'm not aware of, but I eventually do. Next video.
Is that intentional or is that an oversight?
I want to say it's an oversight, honestly, but you do not get souls if the slime jumps on you, so I think it might be intended design. Because you are not supposed to be rewarded for something like that. Also, that jump is really tricky. You can't do it unless you're on that rightmost ledge.
It feels like an oversight to me because if it's technically not dead, that means it should reform and then you can kill it.
Yeah, but it doesn't reform, which is very odd. Now, here's a dude we're not going to kill yet. Bye.
The squatter.
The rotting something or other, I forget what it's called. He has this game's equivalent of toxic.
Ooh.
And I think he's the only person that has toxic, but it's very easy to dodge. That, however, is just me being dumb because I want to go to that thing there. Now, charms are something you could add to your weapons to increase their various capacities. One charm we got a while ago was the Mossy charm that increases range. I believe the one we got here increases attack speed, which is something I kinda really want to use with my ore because this thing is fucking slow. Also, here is our persona. This is how I knew that it was me in that one stream.
The Jackaloser.
I don't know if I'm going to use the ghastly gourd throughout the game, all of it, but I really might, because this thing looks great. This one just looks kind of funny too, this dude running around with a pumpkin on his head, killing people with an oar. So now let's see the actual plot of this game. Hello, friend. Now this is one of the things that actually kind of pulled me into this game, because this is weird.
Is he alive?
No.
You know, maybe he's not saying this, maybe you just have something wrong in your head.
See, that's what I thought too. That's why I was really interested in this game. But yeah, that's Scarecrow. We'll be seeing a lot more of him later through the game. That's how you know he's not alive. He doesn't talk to you afterwards. Also, how you answer Scarecrow doesn't matter. All it does is give you a different viewpoint of his. If I said yes, he would say, aha, you're a scared little bitch. Suffer and die on this island. By saying no, he says, oh, you will suffer and you will die, and I will be there to scoop up your tears.
And call you a bitch. When you've earned it.
Yes. Now, here's how creeds interact. We are not at a creed of the Iron Ones. This is a creed of the Three. Now, by being an Iron Ones in the presence of the Three, I cannot make offerings to that creed. So I cannot increase my attack power by giving it a blacksmith, nor can I enjoy any of the free items that the Three would give you if I was in their creed. I could still level up, and I could still allocate skills, however, we don't get along. By the way, this is the Kure Mora. Guess what it is?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. Much like in Dark Souls 1, the Claymore is a shitfucker. It is the go-to weapon to beat absolutely everything.
Though I don't think I've ever heard a weapon described as the shit fucker.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I was slightly confused what he meant by that.
It basically wrecks everything because it's fast, it has a huge attack radius, and it has huge attack values. And it's also a weapon that leads into a boss weapon that gives you even more attack power. So wonderful. Now, the Drowned Village is this game's way of teaching you about traps and shit. Because a while ago, we didn't see it, but a berserker ran away from us only to fall into that falling bludgeon trap. And throughout all the rest of this level, you see stuff like arrow traps, spike traps. It's basically this game's way of saying, yo, we got traps in spades. But you can't use them here because now we gotta fight this Bronze Knight legit. Well, technically we don't have to. He doesn't have anything that we need, but I'm gonna fucking do it. I want to kill a knight with an oar.
We need cash, man.
So, imagine how painful it must be to be impaled by a boat oar.
That's somehow more brutal than a lot of finishers in Dark Souls.
Yeah, because it's a curb stomp. You are crushing this man's spine with your boot.
Maybe it's because everything's ugly cartoony.
Yeah. There's a very grisly feel to this game. Well, it tries to be very grisly, but sometimes it doesn't succeed. And that's why I kind of enjoy some of the things. Like, it looks dumb, but it still feels very chunky and dark in many ways. Now, the Wrapped Link, in a way, it's the ninja flip ring from Dark Souls 1. It makes your roll better, which is something I'm gonna need. I also got another item that I wanted to look up here. I'm trying to figure out where I put it, though. Or not. What are you doing? What I should be doing is equipping a ninja flip ring for this boss, but I do remember that I don't fight the boss quite yet. Now, an interesting thing here, they give you blessed pages before this boss. Which is really good because they introduce you to weapon bosses before let me rephrase that. They introduce you to weapon buffs before a boss that is, particularly tricky. So it's like the game's way of saying, this boss could be hard, here's a little extra oomph for you if you need it. Ah, I'm just short of salt. Damn it. One thing I could do is if you see there I have a 1 next to a gray sphere. Somewhere along the line we got a gray pearl that allows you to refund 1 skill point. Now what I could do is I could refund 1 point in dexterity, or in those polearm skills that I'm never going to use. And I could have used 3 skill points to get another healing potion.
I was about to ask if you only used black pearls to increase your skills.
Yeah. Black pearls are for increasing skills, gray pearls are for refunding, and gray pearls are very, very rare. So don't fuck up your build, kids, because you'll only have a small window of which to repair it. By the way, much like Souls games, we just did the run back.
Yep.
I think at this point I was like, why do I have this potato in my inventory? Let's clean this up. Put that there, put that there.
You've already forgotten your chef roots. How could you?
Well, I'm a boatman now. So let's meet our next boss.
You can't be the queen of something you had removed from yourself.
Yeah, I honestly like the Queen of Smiles design. It looks really cool.
She looks awesome.
Yeah, this boss is a step up from the Sodden Knight because she is really aggressive in that she rarely, if ever, stops attacking. She also really loves to do those pause tricks I told you about where she will stop a combo seemingly and then continue it as you try to move in. So you really only have 2 windows to attack her. After she does a charge attack or after she does spray of swords. But yeah, for this boss fight, you really want to learn to roll well. Because you're going to be doing a lot. Also, one behavior I forgot to mention, and if those of you are keen enough to see it in the past video and this, if you ever see me jump out of a roll, that's muscle memory from later in the game.
Does it not really do anything right now?
No. Also, since we're halfway through the fight, she gets a new attack. That's actually the easiest thing to dodge. Now, I mentioned the Blessed Pages being an interesting thing for this boss because this boss is actually weak against Holy.
Well, I can't imagine she is anything holy.
Yeah, it's true. The neat thing about this game is that all bosses have a kind of weakness, and there's no real uniform way to just breeze through a game. Like in Dark Souls 2, everything is weak against bludgeoning damage, and you can just breeze through the game through a good mace. In Dark Souls 3, you can sword and board everything to death. You can't do that in Salt and Sanctuary. I'm gonna learn that my choice of ore is probably not the best for one specific point, because the boat ore is a spear that does bludgeoning damage. I'm gonna regret that choice on one specific boss.
You see, lady, this is what happens when you remove your jaw. You can only scream one way.
Yeah, no real way to change pitch or tone.
Who are you?
Hoo-hoo! God, I can't believe we made that reference.
She's doing the windmill, damn it.
And she's dead.
They got animations down, I'll give them that.
Yeah. For that, we get the Queen of Smiles' ear. That's much like Boss Souls, you get boss weapons for that.
You should get her jaw, come on. Like, she just had it lying around and you took it from her.
Also, we get a familiar looking armor set here. Hello, friend.
Here it makes sense that the pot would be greasy.
This is what happens when you don't have pot proficiency.
Does it actually do any damage?
I don't know. I don't want to try. Now, an interesting thing you could do here is that there's a specific spot in this area that if you're a mage, if you get to a certain point and you come back here, you could get a really good spell that'll allow you to breeze through the game. However, for me, I want this. Bloodflower Charm. This just increases raw attack damage. I need that.
Yeah.
There are other charms that do stuff like convert it to poison damage or convert it to holy damage. And while that's good, it's not good enough as just flat attack damage because I could just add weapon buffs and get elemental damage. We also unlock a shortcut that'll take us to here from the checkpoint of the 3. I also mentioned that torches are used in great effect in this game because there's a lot of just pitch blackness in this game. Hello, Fern. How you doing? He wants a jar of dirt. We're not going to be getting that for about, I want to say, 4 or 5 videos from now.
You should be allowed to give him a bag of salt, because salt is a rock.
Yeah, but he specifically wants, and I quote, a bag of earth. We can't just go outside, dig up some dirt, and give it to him. No, this is a specific item that you gotta find. Now for a strange NPC that we're gonna meet. Strange in that I don't quite know why she's here.
A good thing to be.
She provides an interesting foreshadow, but mechanically I just don't see the point of why she's here.
Her dress does bring to mind the a white version of the Firekeeper from Dark Souls 3.
Mm-hmm. She is your absolutionist. If you commit a grave atrocity in this game, you will accrue sin and punishment, and you come here to forgive yourself of that. Now, the thing is, there's no invasion system in this game, per se.
So then what constitutes a sin?
There is one thing you could do at endgame that would constitute a sin, and this is where you go to forgive that. So, bye, lady. We're not going to be seeing you for the rest of the game.
We're as holy as we need to be, damn it.
I mean, maybe if I decide to do it just as shits and giggles, but, nah, I'm not going to utilize her at all. Get a little bit of levels, put some more points in there. My damage output at this point is considered tapering, and we're going to see that at a boss in 2 videos from now, unbeknownst to me. I've beaten this game 3 times normally. I've never done a gimmick run like this, and I begin to understand the limitations of my choice. But yeah, next time on Salt and Sanctuary, kind of a short video, we're going to be exploring the rest of that forest area that we went into, because for the most part I covered it when I was getting that soldier's poem. We're going to get a foothold into that, fight a really, not tricky boss, but I do mess up a little bit and show off why he's lethal, and just, you know, do a little bit of exploration. See you folks next time.